Hey guys, how's it going? Happy Sunday to you all. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Hopefully everyone is celebrating responsibly. Yes. Anyway, so where are we at? What did I do last night? I went to the Hexagon to attend what was advertised as Dom's last show. Dominic being the drummer for Infamous Memories, a band you've heard me talk about before. But he is taking some time to step away to work on whatever he needs to work on, whether it be family stuff or just improving himself as a player, as a person, as a whatever he has to do. And this is something that more and more people have been doing, and I applaud it. Recognizing that, especially as musicians, we're doing something that we love, but even that can become overwhelming, and it become what feels like more of a burden. And to be able to recognize that and say, okay, I just got to take a minute and step away and do something else or whatever, is if you got to do it, you got to do it, because if you're not healthy mentally and emotionally and whatnot, you're not going to do your band any good anyway. So anybody that chooses to do that, I wholeheartedly applaud. And yeah, that being said, Dom's last show, lots of love in that room, lots of positivity, which I really dug. And yeah, so who was there? First up was these guys who you've heard me talk about, Karma Sutra, buddies of mine. This is their latest release, released sometime last year. I missed the CD release party somehow. Perfection Lies Degraded, I believe. And it's just a 3-song EP. I have not loaded this up onto my computer yet, onto my phone, so I have not listened to it yet. Can we even read those titles? Probably not. But if you see Karma Sutra, pick one up, because they're good guys, and they're, yeah. And they put on a really good show, a really good set last night, as they always do. They're one of those bands that are fairly consistent. And I'll have, yeah. Anyway, so they were up first, and they were awesome. I talked to Randy for a little bit, and he's awesome as always. Next band up was my buddies Fix the Glitch, who again are always killer, and they're you have to check them out. They have the EP out, which I told you about, which I told you about probably, what was that, 3 videos ago, give or take. So just check them out. Um, pardon me. Um, they were good, and obviously, I talked to those guys too, James and Sam and all the guys. Um, and next up was the only band on the bill that I'd never seen before. Um, and they're a band called Hailing Andromeda. And I'd gotten their EP. I downloaded their EP week and a half ago, give or take. Um, and yeah, it's good. It's yeah, yeah. Um, so to see those guys live was really cool. Um, and I goes without saying that I would recommend all these bands that I'm talking about. I would totally recommend. Um, next up was these guys, Endless Rain, and I got spiffy new T-shirt from those guys, and they made their debut as a three-piece. They had parted ways with their bass player. So last time I saw them at Lee's, they did not have a bass player. So it was just guitar player, drummer, and Mike on vocals. But then Mike decided just to pick up the bass, and he's now the new bass player in their trio, and it works. It totally works. It is, yeah, they're kicking ass and taking names, let me tell you. Yeah, so that was impressive as hell. And sorry, it's been kind of a long weekend. And yeah, just good stuff all around. And the vibe in that room was just so good and so positive. And I ran into so many people that I knew and chatted with people. And anyway, so, and of course, last up was Infamous Memories, who I've seen a bunch of times. And they absolutely kicked ass. So, yeah, again, highly recommend all of these bands and more. So, speaking upon how, I don't know if reputation is the right word, but I was hanging outside between a couple of the bands and talking to Russell Berry, the bass player for Karma Sutra. And we were just chatting and whatnot, and he introduced me to a guy named Mike. I didn't catch his last name, but he is currently the singer in a band called Standing Alliance, who hadn't heard of and hadn't checked out yet. Just saying, yeah, this is Ryan. He does a killer podcast and blah blah blah. And again, I don't know if I would consider this a podcast, because in my eyes, a podcast is something like Greg Chilton does, where it's scheduled, it's every week, or but it's on some sort of schedule, and it's similarly themed. I have the basic kind of general theme of music and local music and all that stuff, but I mean, so on the one hand, it's like, I don't know if that's accurate, but on the other hand, it's like I have met so many people because of these videos. So I don't know what to think. It's. I mean, thank you guys. But I don't know. We'll just, like everything else, I just do what I do, and that's about it. So, on to other things to talk about. Check this out. So, Mason Metalfest. Let's talk about that. Where to even start? So, this guy who I know, who's my friend, who's everybody's friend, Richard McDeed, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. He has a son, Mason, who is now 22, 23, who has cerebral palsy. And when Mason was young, this is a story that I read, so hopefully it's accurate, and hopefully I'm retelling it accurately. When Mason was young, apparently he was, crying as children do, and couldn't do anything to settle him down. And Richard came home and threw on Metallica's Binge and Purge video, and then went to, do something. And then he, realized a couple minutes later that Mason had stopped crying, and then he came back in the room and Mason had fell asleep. So that was kind of a aha moment, and so from that day forward, he in order to calm Mason down, he started with Metallica, and that seemed to work, and then they moved on to other metal bands, and that seemed to work, and pretty soon they started, when Mason was old enough, they started going to shows and being recognized and all that stuff. So to help this, they set up a charity called Best Seat in the House, and its goal is of course to raise awareness about cerebral palsy and the effects, but then of course the effects that metal music can have in as a therapeutic tool, and just spreading all of that. So last year was the first one, first Mason Metal Fest, and I attended, and it was a good time. It was a good time. Lineup was absolutely killer. Let's see. Let me just pull this up real quick. Where did I put that? There. Okay. So, first one, which was on March 24th, 2018. They're at Lee's, which is an awesome venue anyway. And this one, the lineup was Fix the Glitch. This is my first time actually seeing or meeting Fix the Glitch. So that's kind of an anniversary coming up. The Droids You're Looking For, who are a kind of Star Wars themed band, trio I believe, and they were pretty good. But then after that you had Karma Sutra and Heal and Solace and Murder, Glutton for Punishment, Iridius, Hate Beast, the Omega Sequence, and Mastiff, all for $10. Of course, donations going to the cause. So it's a good cause. They always put on good shows. And Richard is a good guy. Single dad, raising Mason. He also has a daughter who I believe just went off to college this year. So he's dealing with all that. And we're just here to support him and to help him out, and he supports us. He supports the community supports him, and the fact that this is the only CP or special needs metal fest or festival of any sort like this that's going on in the country. And it's during March which is Cerebral Palsy Awareness Month. So, gotta love that. So the second one is going on this Saturday coming up, the 23rd. And the lineup for this one is just as good as the lineup for last year. A couple of repeat bands, but a couple of new ones. There's only one band in the lineup for the second one that I have not seen, which is a band called Forever and Grey. Other than that, I've seen all the bands and they're all excellent. You have Distal Descent, you have Karma Sutra, Krog, Forever and Grey, Mordic, Solace and Murder, Cymothwa, Echoes of the Fallen, Semtex, and Hex Vortices. So that's going to be an absolutely killer show. And it being a benefit, there's going to be, I would assume, like last year, there will be live auctions and silent auctions, with of course all the proceeds going to Best Seat in the House. And did I mention that this show at the Metis this year won Show of the Year for last year? So, you know, that's how that works. So yeah, if you're not doing anything Saturday, go to Lee's, spend the $10 to get in, and just have fun, and just, you know, do what you do. So there's that. And to wrap this episode up, we will talk about a show that I'll be playing this Friday with Strike 13. It's the Punk Against Cancer show. Strike 13, the Saboteurs, Zipper Merge, and Angela B, whose father passed away not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago. And they are the family we're doing this benefit for. $10 at the door. Everybody, all the profit or proceeds go to the family to help with enduring costs, which should be, I mean, the reasoning behind doing it sucks. The fact that cancer has taken another life, but we are here, you know, coming together to celebrate his life and to using music to heal, which I think is a very good thing. In the case of this show, in the case of the Mason Metalfest, using music to unite people and to you know, just it brings people together. It really does, and it can work wonders. So if you're able to come out Friday, that would be awesome. But if not, definitely come back. And that show is at least as well. I didn't mention that. So it's a benefit weekend, pretty much at least this weekend, with the Punks Against Cancer show on Friday, and then Mason Metal Fest on Saturday. So if you can attend either of those events, that would be killer and awesome. If you can go Friday night, awesome. If you can do Saturday and support Richard and Mason and Best Seat in the House, that would be awesome as well. And it's been feels like it's been a long weekend. It hasn't really been a long weekend, but it feels like it. So I'm going to wrap this up and get out of your guys' hair, and I'll probably do I'll probably talk to you guys again Sunday and do a recap of the weekend. Yeah, I think that's everything. I believe that is everything. So yeah, have fun, stay safe, have a good work week, and we'll talk to you guys probably next week. So see you guys later.